Okay, everybody, let's get started. Got a whole bunch of stuff that came in the last couple of minutes, both in the NBA and in Major League Baseball. Um, so I guess the goals are very modest today. I just want to get through without having to kick Bobby off of the screen. That's going to be the one goal. But I think he's back with his normal internet, so we'll see how that goes. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope anybody and everybody, by the way, looked at my Derby video and capitalized on that. I mean, the Exacta paid 500 and identified 4 horses. If you boxed them all for $12, you could have made like 500, like pretty easily. Yeah, so there was that. Had a takedown of an NBA thing yesterday. I had a MMA thing. I made it to the final round of that, which is not for 2 weeks. So overall, pretty good weekend. But we got all kinds of stuff to do today, so let's focus on that. First thing, again, the Colorado game was postponed. The Cubs game was postponed. Those are two very key games with respect to the analysis today for a lot of reasons. So what we'll do is probably we'll just re-go game by game again, I think, because I mean these are like several pitchers and hitters that dropped off of the map, and it would have been interesting to see what happened. Okay, so let's let Bobby in right now. Yeah, so I was just telling everybody that the two postponements. I mean, it's good that we got that news, obviously, but the presence of both those games would have made things a lot more interesting. Whenever you have a game in Coors, it makes the slate more interesting. But we talked earlier about maybe a kooky leverage play of maybe Marquez as a pitcher. Talked about taking things from that Colorado game that maybe other people weren't taking, and the Cubs game. I mean, it takes one of the only legitimately good pitchers like off the slate. So that was not to mention probably the top raw points hitting stack off of the slate in the Dodgers, right? So, on the one hand, it makes it easier, and yet on the other hand, it makes it, I guess, a little less interesting. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's a lot less interesting. I have a pretty narrow number of stacks tonight because it's not that, there's just not a whole lot going on. Bob yesterday actually touched on one of my things. Is he says that he saw Kramer versus Baltimore is going to be kind of popular, but he likes to Seattle bats. I'm leaning that way too. Seattle and Minnesota are my main teams right now, which is not what I would normally expect. Well, Minnesota maybe, but not on a big slate. And I will have some San Diego, but I think that they're going to be fairly popular. And I mentioned about Anderson, but now it's just the slate's small enough to where there's not as many great spots to attack. We also still don't know about Milwaukee, Philly. I'm not playing any players in that game. I do think that the Mets and St. Louis are a go-ahead, so I think we can play players in that game.
Yeah, we went over that already, Tony. But thank you very much for the input. Again, don't ever think that we know something. If you see news like that comes across, don't presume that we know it. And I appreciate any information that you guys want to populate in here. The one thing that I'm different on is, and I don't know if I'm going to need it anymore. Maybe I will. Is instead of or in addition to Daniel Lynch, I might play that Miguel Diaz from San Diego. Same type of thing. Not asking for too much, and it allows me to play more hitters. But I don't know. The one set of hitters that I really need to pay up for, that would be otherwise hard to pay up for, is San Diego, right? Because all those guys are really, really expensive, but I still might do that. I want to just redo everything with respect to this, all the Cubs and all these guys being out. But the one thing I still don't know if I'm. Oh, and the other thing that's changed is Ohtani, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Quintana's pitching.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was and know that
That's a big
before.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I am going. Am I going to get to Quintana? Maybe I'm going to get to Quintana.
I could see it going. Actually, I do like Tampa Bay a little bit better now than I did before. Even though it's weird because it's not like I'm saying that they're going to light up Quintana or anything like that, but he definitely is combustible. He can get wild and get himself into a lot of trouble. So I would be open to stacking against him. And also, like, I don't think he's the worst play in the world either. The truth. And I'm not interested at all in this Cleveland KC situation, which I know other people are. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We'll have to leave me this much. Sorry, I'm just trying to finish up my lineups here. We'll get to basketball in a little bit. Guys, drop any questions and I'll jump over in the chat in a minute and answer what I can.
So with the Dodgers off the board, that upgrades Minnesota. I mean, it downgrades their ownership leverage for you because I know you liked Minnesota earlier, and I'm telling you, nobody was going to play them. But maybe even still, it's probably a good play.
Yeah, they are tricky to get in if you want to pay up at pitching. That's one thing I could say about them. Doesn't fit perfectly.
So what are you? So you looking? You're trying to accomplish Glasnow Maeda? Then is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in my main lineup, I probably will end up doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
And and I mean, getting a like a little 4-2 or 4-3 Minnesota Seattle stack is what I'm trying to go for.
Right.
I'm gonna have to edit these a little bit later, but I'll answer some questions in the meantime and just make sure I've got everything right on my upcoming ones.
I think the Mets are back in play for me a little, with the lack of weather concerns.
Yep. I like them more like it's just like a few bats than I do a full stack, but I think it's fine either way. I like. I do think Seattle and St. Louis, like Seattle and the Mets, St. Louis and the Mets are another place people will go to some, and I prefer the St. Louis side of it personally, but I like the idea of getting some of that Mets power in. So I agree with that. The problem I'm having is that I like the Twins, so that my outfield, I like the Twins and Mariners, so my outfield gets kind of loaded up pretty quick. That's the issue I've got with that one, but can't have everything. Anyway, I'll jump into chat and answer some questions. I'm trying to build while I do this, and it's weird because usually you don't have as much, but for some reason I didn't get back to my computer till earlier, so I'm like, with baseball anyway, it's usually easier than this. And I'm just waiting for that other game to get some sort of news. Oh, we're getting lineups out now, so that's good.
And this is for which game?
I don't know what you mean. I didn't say anything about that game.
Yeah, you did. You said I'm waiting to get some more clarity on this game.
I said lineups are out. 5 lineups are out while I was looking at my phone. So it wasn't about one game. It was all the games. So anyway, so the other thing that I thought was a little bit sneaky that I don't mind taking a shot on is a mini Pittsburgh stack too. Moran especially. So that's it. I'm sorry, I don't want to say when you don't get anything back. These shows are really hard to do while you're building lineups, so it's like I need to go back and forth. So I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to the chat for a little bit. SNY. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? SNY of the 3 to 4K picture, 4K pictures you like? I don't like the 4K, but I don't see any reason to use them today personally. So go ahead and do it, but I'm just not doing it. Sheets likes it. I understand a lot of people in the industry do because there isn't great options, but I'd rather there's plenty of ways to find room. There's plenty of cheap hitters. In this, Jamie says in the Toronto-Oakland game on DK, do we like any bats? wise. No, I know in the morning it was something to look at. So I do think that I think that again, there's everything is better than it was before. I think that I like Murphy. I assume that Murphy got in the lineup. I haven't had a chance to take a look at the starting lineups too that just got released. Sean Murphy would be like the catcher I would pay medium up for or whatever on DraftKings. And the A's in general, like, I mean, yeah, everybody, yeah, Murphy's batting third. Yeah, Laureano, Canna are expensive. I just am not that interested in paying these prices for those guys when I prefer the other spots better. But I could see picking out one or two bats from either of these sides. Matt Chapman, obviously a strong play at 4.3. I'm just using different third baseman than that. And I think that they will be low owned, and it's decent hitting weather in Oakland, which is unusual. So taking a shot on some of these expensive bats would make some sense. I just don't think I'm doing the full stack. I think both pitchers are good enough to not try to attack against.
So what I'm going to do then, well, Bobby, you can look at your stuff. I'm just gonna go through like my board. You know what I mean? Like, and again, what's interesting, guys, is like, you know, Bobby and I are, you know, we don't talk about this in advance. We don't like agree on stuff. We don't agree to disagree on stuff. You're getting in sometimes just two totally different takes, and you know, you it's up to you to figure out, you know, what best suits your, you know, your fancy, so to speak. I mean, all we can do is be transparent and tell us what we're doing, what we think. So, you know, and nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Well, that's not true. Somebody is going to be right, somebody is going to be wrong. But this is just kind of the process. So, like for me, my initial look is to go with Maeda and Diaz, as Bobby was mentioning, and I actually might do a little Lynch also. Although from what I heard about Lynch, like I said before, like he's not really that supposed to be that good, if at all. Not that you don't need much from him, but I'm a little more concerned about him getting just rocked as opposed to the Padre, only because they're playing Pittsburgh, and like for the same reason, you know, I think that people that are playing the 4Ks guys, you know, there'll be people playing them, especially alongside with Glasnow. So I think Bobby's idea of playing Pittsburgh certainly makes a lot of sense. Okay, because I do think that if people are going to play leverage plays against those pitchers, I think people will be more inclined to play Cleveland, right, over Kansas City than they would Pittsburgh. So if you do like Pittsburgh, I think it's pretty sharp. But that's where I'm at. I'm just not getting to Glasnow. I'd be more inclined to actually go to like Kramer. I don't know if I can do the Quintana. Just because, you know what, I'm like, you talk about recency bias. I'm recency biased. I'm biased against that he cost me. I had like great lineups, and then he like got negative points when I needed him. So maybe I am recency biased against him. But I think that's where I'm going to be. And for me, with respect to my stacks, I am my favorite is going to be the Padres, and one has everything to do with the other. You know, like the reason why I could play the Padres with kind of impunity is because I'm doing the no Glasnow, and I'm doing the Maeda plus the other, you know, the cheapo. If I did want to play Glasnow, I do have a little bit of value here. Milwaukee's not in, right? So I do like Tampa, and Bobby was mentioning that earlier, as a good value play. Cleveland we already talked about. I like Tampa actually significantly more than Seattle. That would be my comment on that. So for me, if I'm going to play value, I'll probably play the Tampa guys as opposed to the Seattle guys. I would rather play, but I have the Mets very similar to the Mariners. If that means anything to you guys. So that's kind of where I'm at. Let me look through my one-offs and see if there's if anything kind of stands out as like a one-off that we haven't talked about before. So Tommy Pham is 2,700. That would be first thing. I keep forgetting that the Milwaukee game's out, right? No, that's in, right? So I do like the Milwaukee value. Sorry about that. So I do like the Milwaukee value as a stack. I didn't realize that they were still playing.
We don't know that Milwaukee's going to be playing.
We don't know that yet, one way or the other. Okay.
I'm guessing not, but that's just
okay. Kevin Pillar is in at 2K. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Harold Ramirez for Cleveland, 2,300. These are just guys I'm kind of looking at my list really for the first time. Kane for Milwaukee at 3,200. Yeah, so I want to get some news because I might try some of this Milwaukee stuff if I kind of get the yellow. If it gets a yellow, I'll probably go for it. If it's still yellow orange, something like that, I probably won't. Just I don't need it. With respect to FanDuel, do you like Maeda still on FanDuel?
Yeah, I do.
I do as well. We're both on the exact same page over there. What about for stacks on FanDuel? What's your favorites over there?
I have a little more San Diego over here. I'm trying to find a way to play. So I'm making sure to use Grisham and try to use some lefty bats from San Diego if you're going to play them because I think they're going to be really popular. Okay. And as I mentioned, just Tyler Anderson just doesn't. I mean, you can look at it. He just doesn't give up many home runs. Even when he pitched in Colorado, he didn't. So I don't know. I'm a little bit. I'm still trying to figure this one out, and I think that other than them, I do like parts of the Mets, parts of St. Louis. I still like Minnesota the best. And then I agree that getting a little bit of Tampa Bay makes sense.
And I do like, as you can see from my board, I do like Cleveland as well on FanDuel. And that would be, which Rosario do I like? I like both Rosarios, actually.
Yeah.
I like both Rosarios. Cesar Hernandez is only 2,300. Roberto Perez got in, huh? He was going to be questionable. He was going to be questionable because he had a ring finger thing or something like that.
Yeah, I just have no interest in that game because the wind's blowing in, and it's just not. I don't like the hitting conditions. I'm not trying to target it. I understand if other people want to. I'm just not. It's just not where I'm doing.
In the Cleveland, you mean?
Yeah, I have no interest in that game. And it might be like sometimes you just got to make decisions, and it might end up killing me. But that's where I'm at right now on it.
Oh, this is interesting. Franmil Reyes is back. I didn't know that. He was out for a while, I think.
Yeah, he was. The lineup's fine, but it's just not. I don't know. I'm just like I said. I'm just not quite getting there.
I got you. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Trying to see. The one thing I'm considering too is like even guys like Savale. If we're really afraid of Glasnow, like Steven Matz, like. As much as I want to like say, okay, well, this matchup and that, like he's been good, and all you need is good today. We don't necessarily need great.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
do you have any worry about would you play like Brandon Lau, lefty? Doesn't bother you? Hitting sixth?
Yeah, no, that's what I would try and do. I would try to get the guys who I would play Lau and Meadows against the lefty, even though it's not as ideal for them, just because. You're playing, if you're playing the stack, I don't think I'd want to try to one-off them, but I think if I'm playing four of them, I mean, that's what I just did. I Rosarena with the two lefties, and then you can use Mejia, you can use any Brousseau, who I like. That's what I would be looking to do.
Let me get a Brewers weather. Hold on. Let's see most recent weather. Light showers. Less chance to get rained out. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take that gamble.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great when you look at it.
I don't think I'm going to take that gamble.
Yeah.
But I think a good place to start, also on FanDuel, if that Tampa game is a Rosarena, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. For sure. Minnesota does have the cheap catcher, by the way, which allows you to do more if that helps anybody. If you're using the Minnesota stack. Actually, you could just use him as a one-off because he's so cheap. And I'm sort of like flirting with the idea of the St. Louis thing. I mean, it makes some sense to me to stack them, but I don't know. I haven't quite got there. I haven't quite pulled the trigger there.
Who else do we like in the Mets? You know who hasn't done anything this year? Is Francisco Lindor.
I know. but I'd play. I mean, he would be the one I'd like the most on the Mets actually because doesn't take up an outfield spot.
Right.
So, and then like Austin Nola, by the way, is catching for San Diego tonight, which actually makes me like their lineup a little bit better. I actually think Austin Nola is going to be he's a hitter, and just wanted to throw that out there. So I am mostly playing. I have Glass now like 50% on DraftKings, and I have Maeda almost exclusively on FanDuel today. Is my plan.
I like that.
With one or two Glass now. I am worried about the thing for Glass now, and I think Maeda. The thing is, it's good hitting weather in Minnesota. Which, if I wasn't playing Maeda, I would consider a few Texas bats, especially Lowe and Gallo. But I'm just ending up with a lot of Maeda.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a second baseman that fits what I'm doing on FanDuel right now.
Mm-hmm.
This makes sense. Probably just do this.
Rousseau's over there, right?
Ooh, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the one I would. The problem with him, you might get pinch hit or whatever, but he does have pop, and hopefully if he hits one out, they won't pinch hit him. Which I hate when they do that. Doesn't that bother you, Sheets, when teams do that?
Yep.
Guy hits a home run or 2 home runs sometimes, and then no, it's all right. We're good. You can go back. You can go back into the dugout now because the guys that you're facing, especially when it's like a righty facing a righty. Like these guys grew up hitting against right-handed pitchers mostly.
That's like a Sheets move, by the way, in basketball. The guy makes like 4 threes in a row, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't need you right now.
Yeah. Is
that why? I'm like, you wouldn't understand.
That's the AAU Sheets coaching strategy.
But am I the only AAU coach that ever coaches that way?
Yeah, you sort of talked about. I'm sort of into this Tampa Bay thing. I'm going to get a little bit of this because I do think it's a reasonable stack, and you can play like weird parts of it. You can include Adames down at the bottom. Shortstop sucks today, like unless you're paying up, and up is like way up. I mean, other than DeYoung, who I'm guessing is going to be really popular, it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Ramirez.
Reina.
All right, so that makes sense. Now let me look at DraftKings now. DraftKings. Yeah, I know. I know. Oh my God, you pulled this up. Everything's postponed. Yeah, I know it's all postponed. Thanks for the input.
Wait, you just said a second ago that you wanted the input. Now you're mad at the.
No, not there. No. I went to DraftKings and I pulled up my shell lineup, and everybody from the shell lineup is postponed. It's like all red. I'm like, I appreciate it.
That's funny. Oh, you mean from that? Yeah, I got you. Rosarena.
Mio, by the way, if you do play Kenta Maeda like I'm doing and like Bobby's doing, you're really not allowed to complain if he loses because he hasn't done anything.
It's weird to play him as semi-chalky. I'm just betting on the long term who he is.
I'm just betting on the short term. I just need like the next 3 hours for him to be good.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about basketball. Look, if I can get 6 innings out of Maeda and 9 strikeouts, I'm going to be happy. What I mean?
Yep. Myers, Grisham. Who else in that San Diego game can I cram in here? Let's see. Pham. Oh, man, that is so cheap. I can barely even spend the rest of my money. Okay, so now if I did that, I can't believe this Dodger game is postponed.
No. The least postponed team in baseball, the Dodgers.
Yeah. And who's a good? Let's talk someone else there. So second base. Boy, nobody's that great, huh? On DraftKings.
Brousseau is now my favorite. Arias is a part of the twin stacks, and Brousseau is my favorite. That's how.
What about Polanco?
Too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you could find other things to do elsewhere, but I'd rather play other twins. I'd rather play Kepler at the bottom of the order at 3,400. I'd rather play Donaldson. Oddly, in my stack though, on my DraftKings lineup, I don't have Donaldson in it just because I have a mini stack with Seattle and Seager.
So first base, I think I think Alonso is the idea. If you can afford him. I can't afford him, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can afford that. In second base, you'd like the Brosseau. And you like Sean Murphy pitting third.
One thing I would do, because you can spend whatever money you want, especially if you play Maeda, you can do whatever you want on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Throw in some Mike Trout in your lineups if you're not playing Glass now. Just because, because it's Glass now and everything, I just think that he's going to end up overlooked a little bit more. And I just don't think that there's any matchup that I'm really that scared of for him. I do like Goldschmidt also, by the way. For St. Louis, I didn't mention that one before. Tommy Edmonds. Those are probably my favorite of the two of those guys of the cards.
If money were not an issue, would you like Brosseau more than Brandon Lau? No, right?
Other people would say that's the better play, but I mean, first of all, money obviously is an issue, but like, I want the guy who's going to play the whole game. Who, even though he's not good in general against lefties, it's not like he can't be good. It's not like I think he's actually gotten better. Is one thing, but I wouldn't. I would play Lau.
Okay. So I'm good with that. Let me just.
Guys, I'll be in the chat in a second. I'm just got to finish up these last couple things, and then I will be ready. Plenty of time to chat with you guys, because there's not a whole lot else about baseball once you get your lineups done.
Nope, that is correct.
And then the Mets outfield, the ones that you want are Dominic Smith, in my opinion, and Conforto the most, probably.
Who did we say good? Would you play? What's his name? Kirilloff, right?
Yeah, Kirilloff is the cheapest.
He's fair at that price.
Yep.
Over here.
Well, Will Myers is going to be like 1,000% owned today. FanDuel.
I believe that's the case.
Yeah, looks like it. I also like that these Mets. I like that the Cardinals are kind of expensive, because I think it'll keep some of the ownership a little bit further down. On FanDuel, they're expensive. I'm gonna get just that full game stacked a couple times. Yeah, Friday was pretty cool on FanDuel for me. It's like it wasn't like I won a bunch of money or anything, but it's always nice when you have I think I had 7 unique lineups, and a lot of them very different from each other, different stacks and everything, and every one of them cashed, which was nice.
Is that right?
Yeah. Kirilloff also is a pinch hit risk in general, FYI. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to play him some still anyway, but he is a pinch hit risk.
Rosario.
Okay.
We like at shortstop here. I guess Rosario.
All right. So, let's jump into the chat here and see what you guys got going. Sorry about the long delay between chat visits. I had to get my stuff done, but we're good to go now, and I'm ready to answer and talk. All right. So, big hitters up in the Tampa game. Adrian Johnson. That's actually true. Fair enough. Another reason to get off of the glass now if you don't want it. I totally get it.
What's he saying?
There's a big hitters ump in the Tampa game. Joe Weston, up in the Padres game is a major pitchers umpire. Do we think the Jays don't do well against Montas? I think that's a fair stack to make, because Montas does blow up. You're right about that, John Diaz. So I don't mind that. It's not what I'm doing, but I definitely think that's a viable route to go. There's obviously a ton of power in that lineup, and they're going to be lower owned, so I do like that. what else have we got here? Adam likes St. Louis. The Mets also some of their batter BP last night for a decent amount of pitches. I didn't see that one. I don't know what that means exactly, but I do think those two are viable. Lindor sucks. Played $300 million for Ray Ordonez Jr. That's a pretty good one. I think Reyes will find his way back to being a good player shortly.
By the way, Ray Ordonez is a much better defensive shortstop.
Hey, I mean, it's not like we're talking about a bad defensive shortstop here. He's a pretty good defensive shortstop, Lindor. But Ray Ordonez was an exceptional defensive shortstop. That's true. I wonder if a lot of the other shows that people know who Ray Ordonez is. I don't think so. Yeah, that sort of makes Tampa Bay more of a stackable team too, because Quintana does sort of rely on hitting the edges and stuff. So I get that. I definitely am now like a little bit more. I can see that Tampa stack sort of making more and more sense. I really like Kyle Lewis as individual bats, and Seager, by the way, I didn't mention, and Haniger from Seattle. Those are my favorite bats from Seattle.
Well, that's interesting.
I love Kyle Lewis. I think he's actually I think he's talented, and I want to keep betting on him while he's young. I know he's struggling this year. Doesn't bother me.
Minnesota, KC. A lot of Cleveland.
So
pitchers. Maeda, Wainwright. I don't need Wainwright. Definitely don't need him.
Boy, I'm like 300 off of my perfect lineup here. This is really frustrating.
You have any Steven Matz at all, or no?
Yeah, I do in one of my lineups.
I'm gonna get a little bit.
Do it. I support it.
Just a matter of disclosure.
By the way, you can play as a pivot off of Kirilov. You can play Marmela Joy, another cheapo.
Through 25.
It just feels hard when you look at all these pitchers to not think that everyone's going to come back and end up playing Glasnow on DraftKings, right?
They're definitely going to play him on DraftKings.
I mean, but like more than I think you've been projected is my guess.
Yeah. All right. Let me finish this. Who's out? Oh, something else. Okay. So let me tell you guys where I'm at with DraftKings Baseball before we move on to the other sport, which is always interesting. So I have 75% Maeda, 25% Glasnow, 25% Miguel Diaz. I have 25% Matz, 12%. I do have a little Quintana, actually, and a little bit of everybody, honestly. I have a little Kramer, kind of spread out a little bit with the pitching. And with the hitting, I'll just say this. My top-owned hitter is actually Jose Ramirez. That would be my.
He's the Indian I like.
Yep. And yeah, but my big ones are going to be focused on well, it's those three. I'm gonna have Glasnow, Diaz, and Maeda. I'm gonna have one build with Glasnow, Diaz, one build with Glasnow, Maeda, one build with Maeda, Maeda, Diaz, and I'm gonna have a decent amount of San Diego. And that's where I'm at. FanDuel, I'm playing, I think, just one lineup across like a bunch of things, and I'm going to pretty chalky, actually. Padres, Tampa, Ramirez over there, too. But Maeda pitcher's not that chalky, is he? On FanDuel, or is it?
I think it's fairly. I think it's going to be pretty popular.
Yeah, you don't think Glasnow is going to just eat it all? No, I guess
No.
not. Okay. If you want to answer some questions, I want to do an NBA run here, which will take me about 5 minutes, and then we can talk through it while I'm doing that.
Yeah. Do it. I'm just finishing up my last DraftKings lineup here and trying to maintain my stack integrity, and it's kind of messing me up a little bit.
Oh, with baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any. I'm just kind of talking through this, and then people can post in the chat. I don't have any new NBA news since for the last few minutes. So if anything came out, what was I waiting on? I was waiting on. There was something that was going to happen at 9:00. Now I forget what it is. Golden State, the New Orleans Center thing came in. No Adams. I don't know if Noel is confirmed as in yet. That's another thing. That's something has to be addressed.
If who is?
If Noel is playing or not.
Oh, right.
And you let me know when you want to just yap about the NBA.
Yeah, I'll get over there in a second.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm busy. I'm just. You just let me know when you're ready, though.
Just real quickly before we jump over there, I guess I'll just say my ownership percentages of these guys.
Yeah, go for it.
So I have on DraftKings, I have 80% Maeda, 50% Glasnow, 10% Quintana, 20% Kramer, sort of as a hedge because I'm playing a lot of Seattle. And that's pretty much it for my pitching.
We're very similar, actually.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I mean, the only real difference is my cheapo. That's really the only difference.
Which cheapo is that?
The Diaz. The pitcher.
Yeah.
That's the only real difference. But we're pretty much on the same other guys.
Yeah. Okay, real quick with Seattle, and then we're moving on to the NBA.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on the Noel thing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The good news is that I'll have time after dinner to look at. So let me just see.
Okay, so let's jump over to it. Again, unless there's anything else, guys, I'll take a look in chat real quick to see if there's nothing else before we jump over. All right, Linda, let's see. It looks like nothing else. All right, guys, dropping any NBA QQs. We're going to get that stuff figured out right now. I'm actually only playing on FanDuel today, but I did do all the research for DraftKings and everything.
Let's talk about FanDuel first, then, because there is a really big difference with the point guards between the two sites.
This is like where you're going to win or lose tonight, in my opinion.
A point guard?
Yeah, because it's really tempting to go for all these great guards, but you've got but how do you not want to play like Sabonis now?
Right.
Or
you can play them both, right? I mean,
you could spend up and down and then do it. To play both and then play an expensive center, which I still think is the best route to go, is hard.
Okay.
Let's just see real quick who I'm missing on a point per dollar basis of FanDuel that really has jumped. We got Hayes because Hayes and McConnell too. It's frustrating. Should it lower? It should lower some of the spend up guys, like the guys we like Westbrook, a little bit, and Curry a little bit. Because Killian Hayes and McConnell, and the guy who really will be left out, I think, will be Dame Lillard, and I think that's what I'll end up doing. I like Lillard and Curry, and just say, okay, if the other guys beat me, they beat me, kind of a thing.
What are you doing with this? Oh, we got are these San Antonio guys in? I mean, I presume they're all playing, but
yeah, it's hard. I mean, we don't have any official word. At least, let me double check this. Pacers starting LeVert, Sumner, McDermott, Brissett, Sabonis.
McDermott is looking like a good value, as is Caruso. What do you think of this is like way in the future. I mean, you can't even probably think about this game for like a while. But what do you think? What do you think of KCP tonight?
I do other things like
Okay.
We've had KCP with everybody out, and there's really no difference. It's just if he gets going and there's no value, that's when you play him.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't think you play him. Yeah, maybe spending down at center is going to become a little bit more valuable to me because I really like these guards, and it feels weird to leave Westbrook out as one of them. I'm not crazy about this. Yikes. Because I really want to spend up at both power forward spots now.
You want to play Sabonis and Zion, you mean?
Play Sabonis and Zion or Randall. Any of that combination is my favorite. But we have Hernan Gomez now, and I actually think that's probably the best spend down on FanDuel.
Better than Killian Hayes?
No, for center.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, okay, because I'm looking at other spend downs, other positions. I got like Hachimura, 3,900.
Yeah, Hachimura is in my. Yeah, I definitely play him.
I don't know that the Hernan Gomez thing scares me a little bit. I kind of want to play Jackson Hayes a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's been pretty consistent in his minutes.
Yeah, I know.
27, 28, 23, and 30, 34.
And you like Hernan Gomez more than like Wendell Carter?
Assuming he's starting, which I think he is. But I think we should assume he probably is. Yeah, I think I do. I do like your guy with Joe Val, though.
Yeah. Let me see something. FanDuel, NBA.
Yeah, point guard on FanDuel just makes me wish I wasn't playing on FanDuel as much as I am. Ugh, there's just a lot of guys.
Westbrook, Hayes, Curry, Lillard's so damn cheap. Well, I shouldn't say cheap.
Grayson Allen.
Curry. 1,500. Wait, what is
Williams? After all that, if I end up using Looney at center, I will feel weird about it, but I might end up having to do that.
Really?
It doesn't feel right.
What do you think about John Collins at power forward?
I like him.
You know, I'd rather not play.
Who's that?
I'd rather not play Josh Jackson. But it's hard not to play Josh Jackson tonight.
Yeah, on FanDuel especially, I feel like.
I wouldn't know. I really, honestly wouldn't know how else to play. Jordan Clarkson? I mean, like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know you could play. You could play Karis.
Your answer is.
No, you can't play Karis LeVert. If you wanted to play Sabonis, I don't think. So, who do you like Westbrook more than Curry, even at the price on FanDuel, or no?
I like Curry. It's hard for me to get Curry not play Curry. I don't know how to answer it.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's in with a little mini game stack that I'm doing. Curry, Westbrook.
What's Stewart on FanDuel? Is he still cheap?
Give me 6,300. He's not that cheap.
Yeah, and do we have? By the way, we also have no confirmation that Vooch is playing.
Yeah, that's true. Pistons: Hayes, Diallo, Bay, Dumboya, and Stewart. Diallo starting. Okay, that's kind of interesting. They've got kind of back and forth with that one. But I do like Diallo a lot now at shooting guard. I don't mind if you play him with Josh Jackson. They did say Jackson, right? Ugh. Oh no, Jackson's not starting. I'm sorry.
Josh Jackson's not starting?
Yeah. But I actually would have to go back and look at the last few games. I actually think that he's come off the bench a few times recently.
You into this THT business or no?
I got away from it a little bit. I have him in one lineup, but I don't think I'm going to end up going crazy with it, especially because I'm playing on FanDuel and you don't need it quite as much.
Yeah, it says Diallo starting for Josh Jackson.
So I might take Josh Jackson out of my main lineup. I actually still think he's fine. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing exactly, but I do think it's a sign you should probably be playing Diallo.
We're going to change that. We're going to do that. Keep this lineup like this. Oh, I like this. This looks pretty good. Stewart. $648, plenty of time here. I don't want to play too many from the Pistons, though. Who else could I play at shooting guard on FanDuel aside from like 4K to 4,700? That's not Hamidou Diallo.
4K to 4,700.
Nobody. Just nobody. It's a disaster. PJ Dozier, I could do that.
It's not the worst thing. You could do worse than that. It's a filler. He's not going to win you a tournament, but keep you in there.
And I can always change it later.
Grayson Allen.
Yeah. They play so many guys there, though. And it's the slowest matchup in the universe.
He's still questionable, too. Throwing me off a little bit here. You leave 500 on the table with Grayson Allen and Anthony Melton if he's out. I think that's probably right. And Anthony Melton puts up more fantasy points in like no time than anybody. I swear, it's nuts. Yeah, I think Dozier's fine. Actually, I think that's probably. I don't like that position very much anymore. I didn't like it anyway, but I really don't like it.
Got to be able to do better than this.
I'm debating between Patrick Williams and Garrett Temple, which is to give you an idea of my build.
Okay.
Doesn't feel great either way, I guess.
What do you do with Moritz Wagner?
I'm not doing anything with him. I understand it completely, but I just am not going to do it. What is he even on FanDuel?
49.
And he's what, power forward?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like I like a lot of other power forwards. Temple. Okay, I'm picking Garrett Temple over Patrick Williams here, which feels weird. I don't know if that's right. Actually, I'm very, very torn on this one.
Who's a good? So who'd you say you liked? What you liked on FanDuel to pay down at center?
Hernan Gomez, but I don't love it. DK questions, fair game. No, absolutely happy to answer any DK questions. Top pitchers for FanDuel. I'm using mostly Maeda and a little bit of Glass now. Let's see. Do I think Ohtani gets added to as a hitter still? That's a good question. I feel like DraftKings should have told us that one. I don't know that answer. It's a good question, Smarty Tank. I don't really know that one. Let's see. Who's Pup? It's Sheets' dog. Sheets, what kind of dog is it?
Mini Golden Doodle.
Oh, nice. Everybody's got those these days. It's like the puppy of the year.
Something like that.
Everybody's got one. I swear, all my friends. Every time I look at a picture, somebody's got another one.
I gotta save 300. I'm almost good here. Stewart. Right now, I'm paying for that guy at center. Can I do a $6,100 shooting guard that's better? That's as good as Clarkson. Let me see. No, shooting guards. Well, I can go back to Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson off the bench doesn't bother you?
I actually think that there's a definite risk with it, but I think that maybe it lowers the ownership a little bit. So it's just a matter of measuring how you want to go about that.
Yeah. Oh, I could do this. Oh, this would be making things way too low owned. It's going to pivot from Curry down to Trae Young. That's freaking suicide. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I need to get one Westbrook lineup in here at least.
You know, we are going to do that.
Any more questions? Because I'm taking a look.
Nobody needs it. Oh, this lineup has no shot.
Let's see. All right, so Diallo versus McDermott. Diallo for me. I'm assuming it's same for you, Sheets. Diallo versus McDermott.
Yes.
But I don't think McDermott's a bad play. I like Diallo better.
I agree with that.
I think there's a better chance Diallo, you don't play him and you might lose because he might put up 45. And then there is McDermott doing the same.
Okay, so hold on. We're going to change this. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some, I don't want to say shenanigans. There's definitely going to be some news that comes out.
Yep.
I don't like that Vooch hasn't been ruled in.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's definitely some stuff that I could see happening still.
I don't know what I still don't know. And Noel has not been officially done anything yet.
Yeah. Sorry, I wish I could say more than just those things, but yeah, it's true.
No. I mean, these are the things that people have to be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
I don't want to play Josh Jackson.
We're like the guys who,
Right.
3 months ago, we're like any excuse to play Josh Jackson possible, and now we're actually trying to avoid him.
Yeah. Temple. I don't need to do that. That would be pretty cool. Get that in. Good. Little of that, little of that. I don't like that San Antonio hasn't officially ruled guys in or out yet either.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's a typical night in the NBA.
Yep. James Johnson, is he in play?
I didn't find him anywhere. Maybe on DraftKings he would make more sense.
It's 3,700.
Any way to play him on FanDuel, just because I don't see any reason to pay down at that position. You're talking about the power forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't find it. I am using Curry and Lillard for what it's worth in my main lineup. I really think the Lillard play is like what Lillard could end up being the highest scoring point guard and be like 2% owned. I mean, he won't be 2, but he'll be like 5, maybe not even 5.
Yeah. You know, we're going to do this. I'm just not going to play him. We're not going to play him. Retirement. Jokic, Green, Howard, Kuzma, Clemson. Okay. This is not smart what I'm doing right now. Me too.
All right. Any other questions, guys, about the NBA or MLB? We got a few minutes, so I'm happy to answer. Okay. Lillard, Trae Young, mini stack thoughts. I like it, especially on DraftKings, where you're getting the discount on away from Steph, because otherwise you don't have to worry about, because you'd be happy if you get 55 out of Trae Young, but that might not be enough to beat Steph on FanDuel, for example. But you can use him on DraftKings and save the 1,400 and justify it. I'm not using Zion on DK, but I understand it. I just think there's better spend ups in the Westbrook. I like the guards, the spending up at the guard. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the questions we've had. Cheats with dropping dimes with the what's it called? The Kentucky Derby video. Almost 2,000 views on that thing. That thing really spread around like wildfire.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pretty awesome. Like, somebody here talking about horse.
We have no news on Wiggins yet either, right?
No news on. Yeah, no, Wiggins is in.
Oh, he's in. Okay.
They said he will play. And I think we're pretty much. I mean, for my angle, we're pretty good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good luck, and see you at the top. Hopefully, the
Somebody
top.
give us a good story. Somebody post a big winner tonight. Like, let's get one. You know what I mean? I know people had a good weekend. Let's keep it going this week. Let's. This is our time.
Sounds good to me.
NBA wrapping up. Time to get ready for the playoffs, and we've only got a couple more weeks of this absolute craziness, and then we can play some real DFS.
All right. See you later.